Hey y'all, it's Andrea here at VW Family Farm, and today I've got another traditional Amish recipe for you guys. I put it out on a video asking if you wanted to see some more traditional Amish recipes from when we visited Amish country, and this is another one of those. This is the actual recipe we ate, made by the Amish family that hosted us for breakfast. This is gonna be a coffee cake recipe. It's really good, and it's pretty simple. So the first step is you are going to take a cup of hot water, 1/4 of a cup of butter, and you're gonna mix the butter into the hot water. Now, I softened my butter slightly because you're gonna wanna dissolve the butter in the hot water. So if you've got like frozen butter or something, you're gonna need to dissolve that just a bit. You need 1/2 tablespoon of salt. Go ahead and put that in the water butter mixture. And you need 1/4 a cup of sugar. Now I like evaporated cane juice, but you just use whatever kind of sugar you like. And you're just gonna stir all that together in the hot water, get it good and dissolved. And that is step one. So once you get that stirred up and dissolved, if your water's super hot, you need to let it cool down just a bit to where it's not so blazing hot, because the next step we're gonna add yeast and we don't wanna kill it. So at this point, if you use really hot water, let it cool just a bit. If it's just kind of warm, you can proceed at this point. Okay, so our next step is pretty simple. We're just gonna stir in 1 tablespoon of yeast, and you're gonna get it good and stirred in. And then while you're preparing everything else, your measurements for the next steps, which honestly you're almost done, just let this sit and get kind of bubbly. Let your yeast get incorporated into this mixture. There's no super set amount of time. In fact, the recipe doesn't even say it. It just says then add this and the next couple steps. So, but I'm gonna let that sit for a couple minutes while I get everything else together. Okay, the next step, we're gonna finish this up. So I've moved over to my KitchenAid mixer here. I love this thing for mixing up bread and all kinds of stuff. So I'm just gonna take this mixture that we made before. I'm gonna pour it in my bowl for my mixer. I'm gonna add 1 egg beaten. And I'm gonna add 3 1/4 cups bread flour. Okay, I've got my dough hook on there. I'm gonna lock my mixer in place, and I'm just gonna let that get mixed up. Okay, so that's all the mixing. I just got it mixed until all the flour was incorporated. It's just kind of pulled all the flour away from the sides of the bowl. It's all incorporated together. And the next step is just let this rest for 2 hours. So this is a good recipe to make if you get up early and you're drinking your coffee and you're out doing some chores and stuff. You saw this takes minutes. Just mix this up, come back 2 hours later, and we're gonna be ready to finish this up. This would also be good for like a brunch where you're not eating super early. It's gonna make quite a bit, so you could also use it, bake it a day ahead and have it for the next morning, for a busy morning or something. Okay, so I've waited the 2 hours. I moved over here into my dining room because my kitchen is kind of dark these last few days. It doesn't have a whole lot of natural light in the actual kitchen area. I have a small window. It's enough for me, but when I start recording a video, I realize it's kind of dark for you guys. So, and it's just been kind of cloudy and rainy here the last few days, which is a good thing. We need the rain, but I thought I'd move over here where there's better light. It has rested and kind of risen for the last 2 hours. But one thing I've realized, like with this coffee cake recipe, and then I've been practicing some sourdough recipes to share with y'all, is cake recipes do not have enough yeast in them just by nature of the recipe. They're not gonna like rise out of the bowl like rolls or bread recipes or something like that. That's not how they're meant to do. So this rose a little bit, but not like a crazy amount. So just keep that in mind when you're making this. I've taken a 13x9 pan, greased it really good. I use some organic coconut oil that I get from Azure Standard. There's a link below for Azure Standard where I buy a lot of my different basic essentials, things we don't raise here on the farm. So I've got this in the pan. I've got the oven heating to 350. We're gonna head back over and make the crumb topping, and then we're gonna bake it, and this is gonna be done. All right, y'all, it's time to make the crumb topping. And guess what? I actually fixed the lighting issue on this camera. I'm so excited. I am a lot of things. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a gardener, I'm a farmer, I'm a cook. One thing I'm not tech savvy. I don't spend enough time on it to know enough about it, but I played around with this camera until I think I fixed it. So maybe y'all can actually see me now. So let's make the crumb topping. It's really easy. We're gonna need 1/4 cup of butter. I'm gonna grab that. I've sliced it up in little pats of butter because we're gonna get it to crumble, and I just want to help it along. Okay, this is 1/2 cup. I need this about 3/4 full of brown sugar. That's about the best way I know to describe to you how much brown sugar you need, because this again is an Amish recipe. It's a huge recipe, so I've cut it down to make one. If you doubled this at this point, the brown sugar, you would need about 3/4 cup. So that's the best way I knew to show you how much you need. About 3/4 cup of a 1/2 cup, if that makes sense. The exact measurement would be 1/4 plus 1/8. It's the same thing. Okay, and then we need 3/4 cup of flour. Because I'm making a crumble, I'm gonna use the whisk attachment for my KitchenAid mixer. Okay, and that's it. A crumb topping. You just go until it's the butter's as fine as you want it. There's no exact science to it. It's just all blended together. I'm gonna spread this on top of the cake and pop it into bake. All right, it's done. Let's get it out. And the kids are gonna taste test it for you. It looks beautiful. I'm gonna cut them a piece and let them give you an honest review on this. All right, give us a review.
It's good.
Oh, good. That's hot.
You think plain, or you think it needs a cream cheese filling?
Cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
What about a big glass of milk? All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll give this a try. If you like this video, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Like I said, you can make any kind of filling for a coffee cake. You can make like a fruit filling, or most popular would be like a cream cheese filling. So down in the description, I will leave you an optional cream cheese filling. You could slice this in layers and put in between to make it more like a Danish, or you can just eat it like it is now. It's more like a drier crumb cake as it is now, so it's just depending on what you're wanting it for, but it's a good basic recipe. It was really easy and quick, and it's pretty delicious. Good with a cup of coffee or a cup of hot tea this fall. So anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching. God bless. All right, y'all, I've already wrapped this video up, showed you how to make this coffee cake. It's really good. We've actually already eaten half of it, but it's more like a sweet bread is what I would call it. And the way we had it when we ate with the Amish family, it had a cream cheese layer in the middle of it. So I got to thinking, I'm gonna go ahead and make this cream cheese mixture for the other half of this coffee cake for our family, and I thought I would just tack it on to the end of this video to show y'all exactly how I'm gonna do it. It's pretty simple. There's recipes out there of making a cream cheese layer that you bake in the middle of the cake, but that's not how the one we ate was. It was a cream cheese mixture that you slice the cake in half once it's cooked and spread on there, and then put the other half back on top. So that's how I'm gonna show y'all. That's the true way we had it when we ate with the Amish family, so that's how I'm gonna do it. I've got 8 ounces of cream cheese in here. This is really super simple. I'm gonna put a teaspoon of vanilla extract and a 1/4 cup of sugar of some kind. I'm using evaporated cane juice just because that's what I like. I also use a lot of honey, but in this instance, I'm gonna use sugar. 1/4 cup. I'm just gonna cream these together till they get good and mixed up. It helps if you soften your cream cheese. I did not, it'll still work. It just may take another minute or two. Okay, so I sliced this in half. I just took the top off. It wasn't hard. Like I said, this is very much a sweet bread. It's called toffee cake, but it doesn't rise up super tall like a big fluffy cake. That's not the nature of a coffee cake. So because of that, it was pretty easy to cut. So I'm gonna get the rest of this cream cheese out of my beater here, and then I'm gonna spread that on top of that, and I'm just gonna lay the top back on this coffee cake. And I really think this is gonna add a lot to this coffee cake. So by this just being cream cheese and sugar and vanilla, it doesn't have to be cooked into the cake. Like I told you, you could vary this a little bit and do a layer that you just bake in your coffee cake, but a lot of times those call for eggs, and so this one is actually really good. And this is how the Amish lady did it. It was just a cream cheese, literally a layer. It wasn't like baked into it. So I'm just gonna spread this out and lay the top back on. Okay, I got it all spread out. I'm just gonna pick this up. It held together really nicely, and put that back on top. And I think that is gonna add a lot to this coffee cake. It's gonna be more like a Danish, and it's just gonna add a lot of flavor. Lane's gonna tell us if this is better.
A lot better.